Hello, love. I was doing a video shoot today with David Hernandez from American Idol fame and his own singing career fame. He's making a wonderful music video about a new song that is all about recovery from addiction. He's very open and honest about his recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. It's very uplifting, and it has a really core message about how addiction is about running away from feeling things that are pretty messy and pretty awful, and how the only real way that you deal with that, in addition to dealing with the physical addiction, is the emotional underpinnings of the addiction, and that is when you have to feel the shitty emotions behind it all. And in the refrain he sings, feel it, feel it, feel it. You got to feel it, feel it. You want to keep running, running, running. Watch the video. It won't be out by the time I post this video, but as soon as it is, I'll post a link. But I wanted to tell you about a thought that I had when I was talking with another person in the music video. And that was how people recovering from it, people certainly in addiction, often have this feeling that they know that they're doing something that is kind of screwing things up. And they feel like they're messy, which adds another layer of the feeling that you want to run away from. Addiction is often about anesthetizing, or about choosing a more pleasant experience than the one that you have when you're sober and things are a freaking mess. And I wanted to address this notion of messiness. If you've watched my videos and listened to me talking, you know that I believe in absurdity, and I believe in confounding the mind, in interrupting and disrupting the staid, normalized, in-a-box way of thinking and going through your life. I'm not saying that you have to be a freak, although God love me a freak, but that breaking conceptions breaks your mind and your heart open, and you can be freer and experience things transcendent when you do that. Which is great, and it sounds very, intended, and like, what a master you must be if you can get to that point. But, Sister Unity, I'm in addiction, or I'm dealing with addiction, I'm recovering, and I am dealing with trauma. I'm dealing with these things that happened to me in my past that are just messed up, and I can't make sense of my life, and I think I've done things wrong, and I feel like I'm a mess, and I don't feel like anyone likes it, or will like it, if they know. And I want to say this to you, that I'm a mess. I'm a glorious mess. Being a mess is just part of humanity, and everyone goes through being a mess at some point, and the wise ones and the strong ones are the ones who make peace with being messy. They find a way to allow messy. And in doing that and making peace with it and chilling out about it, you start to be able to take some of the mess down a notch. I learned to do my dishes at age 59. I had dishes piled in the sink with food residue creating a funk until 59. I'm messy, but it's okay because I learned a technique. One, I gotta just let that go, the hang-ups about it, and just know that that's a thing with me. And I gotta love myself anyway. Just like you have friends and family members who are not 100% A-list, and they do some things that you're like, but you give them love because they're family, because they're friends, because you see their humanity and you see parts of them that you admire, you love, you're inspired, or you're tickled by, or that you just like having around or being around. You embrace the mess. So we have to do that with ourselves. When I accepted that, I came up with a plan. I had a calm enough mind. I was freed from the anxiety and the hang-ups about it, and I came up with a plan. Just do a couple dishes at a time every time I go into the kitchen. Just do one dish. So I did that. I did one dish. And over the years from 59 to 61, the one dish became two dishes, became a handful of dishes, and I got to actually enjoy having dishes out of the way and done. And there was this moment finally after like a year where I was like, oh, it's better when they're done. I think I want to do them now. And now, 80–90% of the time, I do my dishes by the end of the day. They're all out of the sink. Now, dishes aren't as messy as some people, particularly people dealing with trauma, can feel. I suffered trauma in my early life. You may know what that is if you've listened to some of my videos. And I had to go through various forms of recovering myself and working on that. Therapy, spirituality, meditation. I was part of a 12-step group to work on some of it. And art and all sorts of other ways. So I had to comb through my mess. I had to live with the mess of what was inside of my head and my heart. And it caused messy behaviors. And the piece I made with that was being there to do the homework and just knowing that it was going to be a mess. 12-step programs are great about this because they acknowledge the mess and they're like, it's okay. And you've got friends around you who are also messes, and we're all going to help each other get through the mess. So being messy, being a mess is okay. You know who's not okay? Are the people with the Mar-a-Lago faces who are trying to tell everyone else what to do to fit their concept of perfection. And no queers. Women have to shut up and do what we say. And anyone who's not white and male has to shut up and do what we say. And you know the whole thing. The ones who cram their perfect way of living down everyone else's throats. Those people cannot deal with mess. The mess of their families, the mess of their lives, the mess of their choices, the mess of just this weird world with climate change, especially like the weirdness of the world around us. And so they force a very narrow, singular way of living, which creates a lot of mess for the rest of us and probably a lot of chaos in their own lives that they're shoving down to white knuckle on that paradigm that just isn't working. It's better to let it go and acknowledge the mess and then deal with that from a place where, like, let it go. Okay, it's a mess. Let me come up with a plan. Let me ask a friend for help. So I'm not trying to, this is not a magic wand to get you through recovery, but I want to plant the seed of an idea with you that it is good that you are a mess, because it's a starting place. Allow it its room in your life, in your consciousness, and when you do that, you can find ways to deal with it from there. Accept that things sometimes, maybe even all the time, are just a mess. Then there are people who can help and other resources where you can form strategies to find some practices in order to handle what's messy. But something in our lives is always going to be messy, because that's life on Earth. It's a mud ball, and we came here to do our homework to deal with it. Really, to get over ourselves. And part of getting over yourself is, I don't want to deal with the mess. Well, honey, you came to Earth and it's a muddy place. So know the mess, accept the mess, deal with the mess. That's the seed of the idea I wanted to plant in your head. You could always, always deal with it a little bit, and then pull back and return to your paradigm. A little lipstick, a little eyeshadow, plucking your brow, and you're, voila, perfection. Go out and have yourself something nice to eat. It's presented on the plate with like a string bean with a squirt of lime pomegranate aioli across the top of it. Perfection. I hope that's helpful. If it's not, then oh well, I guess I just made a video mess.